If you've been sensing more than you can explain, this message is your confirmation. Heaven is awakening your sight, and every hidden intention around you is about to lose its cover right before your eyes. Let's get into the video. Welcome to Truth Teller's Mic. There is something that heaven placed in the chosen that refuses to sign what the soul never agreed to. Even before you understood your calling, your spirit recognized when someone was trying to bind you to an agreement that did not come from God. These contracts were never written on paper. They were formed through expectation, obligation, manipulation, flattery, guilt, or unspoken agreements that was meant to recruit your power while restricting your freedom. You felt the pull, you felt the pressure, you felt the attempt to secure a piece of you without honoring the assignment on your life. Some people approached you not because they valued you, but because they recognized what rested on you. They tried to weave you into emotional pacts that required you to silence your purpose for their comfort. They tried to wrap you into agreements where your gifts served them but never served heaven. They tried to tether you to cycles you were born to break. These were spiritual contracts. They were silent, they were subtle, and destructive. They came dressed as loyalty. They came dressed as companionship. They came dressed as support, but your spirit always sensed the imbalance. Something felt off, something felt draining, and something felt unfair because heaven was whispering, "Do not sign this." Heaven was pulling your hand back each time you tried to stay for peace. You are never meant to overlook these attempts. Those contracts were never about connection. They were about control. They were designed to confine your voice, weaken your insight, redirect your energy, and anchor you to environments that could not honor your calling. The moment you began to rise, the moment your discernment sharpened, the moment your confidence returned, these contracts started shaking because they relied on your confusion to survive. Some contracts came from family narratives that expected you to stay small. Some came from friendships that formed around your wounds instead of your growth. Some came from relationships that benefited from your softness while offering you nothing that fed your spirit. And some came from mentors who wanted your loyalty but not your becoming. Heaven has always interrupted these agreements, even when you didn't understand what was happening. Every sudden fallout, every unexpected separation, every painful distance was not rejection, it was release. Heaven was breaking the contract before it could mature into bondage. And now you see it clearly. You see how certain individuals thrived off your silence. You see how your presence uplifted them while theirs diminished you. You see how they benefited from your hesitation. And you see how they counted on your compassion to keep you from walking away. But here is the truth heaven needs you to hear. Your compassion is not a signature. Your kindness is not consent. And your endurance is not agreement. Your spirit has final say. In this new hour, heaven is igniting your awareness. No contract formed in deceit can hold you. No agreement rooted in manipulation can claim you. And no tie built on guilt can restrain your steps. You are stepping into a season where your spirit will reject before your mind even analyzes. You will feel the warning before the conversation finishes. You will sense the intention before the invitation is extended. And this is divine protection. You are rising into a life where your eyes will be sacred and your no will be unshakable. Heaven is teaching you that anything requiring the betrayal of your purpose is not a contract, it is a trap. Anything asking you to dilute is not partnership, it is bondage. Anything benefiting from your blindness is not covering, it is corruption. And this is your awakening hour. You will no longer overlook the invitations that seek to dilute you. You will no longer ignore the tension that signals danger. You will no longer excuse the emotional patterns that drain your spirit. Your calling demands freedom. Your journey requires discernment. Your life is too marked to be woven into agreements that heaven never authored. Walk with the confidence of someone who knows their spirit is sovereign over every demand placed on them. You owe no one access that heaven did not grant. You owe no story your silence. You owe no bond your destiny. Step forward unbound. Step forward untied. Step forward uncontracted by anything that tried to claim what God already sealed. You endured certain betrayals because the mask had to fall, not to break you, but to awaken you. Heaven allows certain moments to sting because the moment of awakening required truth and not comfort. Betrayal became the stage where revelation stepped forward and showed you where the lie sits. You were never abandoned. You were being shown what you could not see while your heart was still trying to believe the best in everyone. See, not every revelation is meant to be shouted. Heaven will place truth in your spirit long before the world is ready to hear it from your mouth. And so some truth is meant to be carried quietly until the right moment, because premature revelation can ruin divine timing. Some truth is meant to redirect your path without explanation, freeing you from responsibilities that were never yours. Some truth is meant to save you. Some truth is meant to save others through you. And some truth is simply to close a chapter so heaven can open the next one. You were never meant to overlook the subtle manipulations that were dressed as loyalty. You felt the uneasiness long before the facts even surfaced, because your spirit tightened in conversations that sounded supportive but carried undertones that drained you. And you sensed when someone benefited from your softness but never honored the call on your life. And you were not wrong. Your spirit was telling the truth before your mind caught up. Walk into this next chapter with your eyes fully open. Heaven is not asking you to be suspicious. Heaven is asking you to be awake. Awake to motives, awake to intentions, and awake to spiritual cost. And finally, awake to the truth that your presence exposes when others attempted to hide. Every time someone underestimated your discernment, heaven smiled. Every time someone tested your spirit, heaven kept record. Every time you were pressured to accept what did not carry truth, heaven strengthened your vision. This strengthening was not punish, it was preparation. And so now you rise with internal confirmation. You no longer guess. You know. You no longer apologize for seeing what you see. You no longer doubt what heaven reveals. You discern what others explain away, and you feel what others numb themselves to avoid. You catch what others overtook because your sight was never meant to live at surface level. And so the world taught you to suppress what you sensed, and heaven taught you to honor it. And now the training is complete. Free yourself from stories that minimized you. Free your spirit from guilt that never belonged to you. Free your path from voices that were never authorized to direct it. And free your walk from people who required your silence to maintain their comfort. Heaven is breaking every false bond that demanded you stay smaller than your calling. Walk boldly, speak wisely, and move intentionally. Your assignment is clear, your authority is active, and your fire is awake. And you are now stepping into a life where truth will no longer hide from you, and you no longer hide from it. Thank you for visiting my channel. Stay covered, stay conscious, and stay undefeated. See you on the next one.